Hello, everybody. We are here talking about how to cope with COVID. And the theme for today is how do we do it with resilience? So it's been several weeks, and we've all been adjusting to the new reality of a threat, right, really across the world. The initial phase was one of adjustment, full of shock, fear, resistance, disbelief. And then came the dawning realization that we may have to learn to cope with an unanticipated changes to our lives. And now it's been weeks, and we're looking at the possibility of reopening. All sorts of fears are coming up about what is possible, whether there will be a cure, whether there'll be a vaccine. Can we go back to a normal? What will the new normal look like? Some of us are tired of being cooped up and the strain is catching up. Some are depressed, angry, distressed. How much longer do we have to go? And how do we cope? And dare I say, how do we thrive in this climate of difficulty? So I think we can begin by thinking about our reality as comprised of two parts. The external reality, which is currently full of threat, and the internal reality, which I will get to in just a minute. So external reality is that which can be influenced by us to an extent, but it is largely out of control. So of course, the pandemic is currently presenting an external reality in which there is threat of illness, and perhaps equally threatening is the economic, social, and physical difficulties that have already accrued to us and may still accrue in the aftermath of this pandemic. We have been in a crisis, and the external stress has been acute and intense. We're all stressed, and the longevity of the threat is uncertain, and we're looking to lift restrictions with both trepidation and hope. And our question is, but how do we set ourselves up in the best possible way for the future that will come? And resilience depends on our internal reality. Our internal reality is the state of our mind, our physical and mental health, and our access to our self capacities, our confidence, our calm, our well-being. This is actually the reality that we can control. And this is the reality that if we can manage well, we can have a resilient approach to surviving this moment. So today we will talk about managing this internal reality in this webinar. So let's backtrack a little bit again and say, what is resilience? Resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. It actually, as I said before, requires managing our internal reality to face the external reality to the best of our ability so that we can cope with the moment, but also thrive in a better future. How do we do this? How do we prepare resilience for the next moment in which our strength and our capacity will be tested? So it is normal, of course, to have a stress response at this time. And our stress can manifest as emotional symptoms, as physical symptoms, as cognitive symptoms, or behavioral symptoms. And sort of emotional symptoms we all understand are sort of feeling of anger and hopelessness and sadness and fear. Physical symptoms may show up as lethargy, tiredness, feeling like you can't concentrate, you can't focus. Cognitive symptoms are about motivation, negative thoughts that show up, hopelessness that leads to a blurring of our ability to focus and do our work. And behavioral symptoms can show up as acting out behaviors, reaching for substances, thinking about self-harm, having conflicts, being angry and having outbursts, and many other such ways, right? And an adequate stress response is absolutely critical at this time because the stress is real and overwhelming in parts. We need to control and manage our stress so that we can maintain our current mental health without getting flooded and overtaken by feelings of distress. We also need to manage our stress because a stress response affects our immune system. And right now, we need our immune system to be as functional and supportive of our bodies and our physical health as possible. And we need to manage our stress so that we are ready for the next step that is yet to come, the new normal that will show up, and how are we going to pick up the pieces and make our life supportive of us again. We all deal with stress differently given who we are as individuals. We are also at different positions with respect to our mental and physical health. Our relational systems of support are different. We are in different economic and social circumstances. So while the pandemic is non-discriminatory in the sense that it will affect any and all of us that have exposure, we will experience it differently depending on our different life and circumstances, and we will respond to it differently depending on who we are. I usually say this at the end, but I think I should say this now. If life feels so overwhelming, depressing, or anxiety producing that you find yourself unable to function, even in performing daily activities such as eating, sleeping, personal hygiene, or you're experiencing functional limitations in your ability to do your work or go to school and study, and you may be experiencing some tendency towards self-harm behaviors, suicidality, physical harm to the body, using of substances like alcohol or other drugs, then it is strongly recommended that you seek professional help. Even if symptoms are not that severe, and if you feel like you can benefit from talking to someone, you could certainly reach out and ask for help. Many therapists, psychiatrists, counselors are providing online therapy and support. Insurance companies have tried to relax some of their reimbursement and payments for teletherapy. So you can reach out, ask your physician for a referral for mental health care. You can look online. Psychology Today is an excellent resource. You can contact your insurance company and see if they can direct you to providers who are providing a lot of online care and support at this time. As we go through this, and I'm sure you're getting lots of information from all other sources, just be judicious about what you can use and what will work for you. One size does not fit all. There are many ideas and suggestions available to everyone. And the idea is to pick the thing that works for you. I will say that one thing that is critical is exercise. And the form of specific activities you may choose may differ. Like some people might want to do yoga, somebody wants to do meditation, somebody else wants to do a Zumba class, somebody wants to go for a walk. Whatever works for you is great, but you want to find something that allows you to use and support your body so that it is healthy. Most of this webinar will be about building a resilient structure to support a calm and steady, positive internal reality is sort of the base. However, let's talk briefly about a simple technique that can help you manage anxiety when it comes up in the moment. So, and then we'll return to building the resilient structure after that. So if you are experiencing waves of acute stress and they come up for you, a very simple way of thinking about how to manage them is, as soon as you notice that you are getting anxious or you're getting distressed or feelings of sadness are becoming more prominent for you, it's important to just stop, slow down, and attend to the feeling as it comes up. And then name it, to be able to say, I think I'm very, very anxious right now. Or I can see the fear is crawling up and I can feel it in my tummy. Notice the effect on your physiology. I can feel my heartbeat. I'm feeling sweaty palms. My tummy is hurting. And recognize and accept these feelings as feelings that have come up. They make sense in the present moment. Be self-compassionate and accepting towards yourself, and without judgment, to just say, it's okay that these feelings are right here, right now. And once you have acknowledged and validated the feelings, see if you can pick up your attention from those feelings and put it somewhere else. So we want to attend, notice, accept feelings, recognize that these sensations and thoughts are coming up from a negative place, but they make sense, and pick up your attention and gently move your attention somewhere else. But what does it mean? Pick up your attention and move it somewhere else. So what I literally mean is, see if you can guide your attention without judgment, without force, without pushing, shake off the negative spiral that it can likely induce, and distract yourself or soothe yourself. So distracting techniques include watch a funny show, go for a walk, go for a run, read a book, pick up your knitting, go cook something, to put your mind somewhere else where your mind can get occupied by something else. And self-soothing techniques are a bit different. They help to calm the nervous system. So here you can think about taking a bath, reading some positive affirmations, listening to soothing music, doing a meditative practice if that's what you're used to, doing some yoga, so that you just calm your nervous system. Either both activities can help you get past the moment of distress. You can also reach out to friends and families, mentors, sponsors for relational support. And I would say that making a list of activities that help you and support you distract or move away from feelings of distress ahead of time helps, because in the moment of distress, it's hard to think of what else to do and you don't feel like doing anything else. So if you can just look on the refrigerator door and you have a list, you can choose something that will support you in the moment. If you find that you're reaching for substances, or you're feeling an impulse to harm yourself in any way, then it is time to seek professional help. So in general, though, the non-acute resilience tools that will support and maintain or even build and maintain a strength for the next phase of our lives can include many things. So you have already probably heard a little bit, and I will go into this in a little more detail, that we want to find normalcy in a time of abnormal circumstance. We want to develop routines. We do not want to forsake basic self-care and exercise. We want to maintain friends and close relationships. We want to find various other stress release mechanisms. We want to have good attitude toward this moment and toward our own life. We want to be able to set expectations in a way that we have experiences of success and competence. We want to manage the amount of stimulation regarding COVID that is coming at us, and then use our time to reflect and gather our values, manage our mental health, and build plans for the future. So let's see what I mean by all of these things. I'm going to go through these things one step at a time. So we are at home, but this is not a vacation. Many people are working from home. Students are trying to do some kind of educational practices, and other people are dealing with the difficulties that have come out of COVID. So we want to find, no matter what our circumstances, a way to maintain some semblance of what feels normal. This will enable us to complete the tasks of life that are in front of us, but also help us to be calm and steady and remain hopeful. Having a sense of normalcy, even though nothing outside really feels normal right now, will provide us with a sense of competency and build resilience. And a sense of meaning in our lives, because it does seem a bit scary to think that one little virus could wipe everything out from underneath us. The importance of routine. It is critical to have a routine. Many people have formed routines, maintained old routines, and some of us need to put in routines into our life. We want to wake up and go to sleep at more or less the same time, have weekdays and weekend activities planned, and that there be some demarcation between what happens during the weekday and what happens on the weekend. We want to eat regular healthy meals, exercise, work or study, talk to people virtually, have time for entertainment, watch TV, movies, play games at more or less expected times in the day and the week. This offers a sense of predictability and control and the idea of normalcy that we were talking about just a minute ago. So also achieving small and manageable goals, like we had a good day today, we were able to do schoolwork with the kids and do our own work, gives us a sense of competence and it builds hope. Structure also binds anxiety, and it provides us with the distraction that helps to soothe us and calm us. Also, clear goals that come with routines help people manage expectations. So if you're in a family setting or there's more than one person in the house, if everybody understands what the routine is and what the expectations are, then the likelihood of arguments is smaller. And I'll come back to this in a little bit. Planning also helps us prioritize what we are going to do, what can be put aside to organize ourselves, and thereby reduce stress and anxiety. So routines are very, very important. Let's talk about the basics, right? So this is a time to eat healthy. Of course, we want to snack on things that are not good for us and do comfort eating, but we need to find a sense of balance. Our body actually is very, very critical for us, both to beat the virus and keep our immunity strong, but also because we want to go forward with a healthier body and maintain our immunity. Sleep is critical. Sleep actually helps us not only perform vital physiological functions of the body, but it also gives the mind rest and it helps us recover from stress. It manages anxiety, depression, and positive emotional health. So if you're not sleeping well, talk to a physician, get some help, figure out how to build in a good sleep hygiene to support sleep. As I said before, exercise is critical. We're not talking about weight loss here, right? We're talking about supporting our immune system. It also releases endorphins to give us a sense of well-being in the present moment, and it helps relieve stress and maintain physical health. in numerous ways. So again, exercise, anything helps, right? Going for a walk, taking the steps up and down in the apartment, doing yoga, Zumba, weight bearing workouts, anything. All of this accrues benefits. Just put on some music and dance around if that's what will constitute exercise for you. The other question I get frequently is that there is so much news coming at us, and we are reading every 5 minutes about COVID. News and information helps us understand our lives and make appropriate choices. We need to know if masks are being recommended. We need to know what social distancing means. We need to know how we can protect ourselves and our communities. Actually, we need to know, whether there's chicken on the shelves in a particular grocery store, right? At the same time, overwhelming amounts of information is damaging to our well-being. Very high stress information that overstimulates our brain leads to a chronic stress response in the body. The chronic stress response in our body is very, very harmful. We actually become addicted to the hyper response, and it makes our body overfunction and produce stress hormones that destroy not only our current well-being, but also actually our immune system and the rest of our physical health. So it is extremely important that we strike a balance. We need to give our brain the opportunity to engage with information that is not just about COVID. We want our minds to have an opportunity to step away from stress and have sort of a calm, fun, engaging, entertaining, stimulating experience periodically. So build into our routines entertainment, just fun activities off screen and on screen, engagement with humor, taking classes, learning a language, doing all the creative things that we never have time for, painting, stitching, knitting, sculpture, going to museums virtually, and for those for whom spiritual practice is important, pursuing spiritual activities at this time all supports our brain and our physical and mental health. In terms of social activities, perhaps we should have called this physical and not social distancing, because connection with others is very important for human life. Not being able to interact with others takes a toll on us, even on the most introverted among us. So it might need some intentional effort right now to have virtual get-togethers with friends and families. And I know people are celebrating birthdays and weddings and holiday rituals virtually. Some people are reporting that they've connected with old friends. Some people are dating online. Other people have joined book clubs and classes and social groups. And many others are actually volunteering to be virtual tutors for kids at home, mentors for people in their professions, companions for older folk in nursing homes and other old age facilities. And volunteer activities are not only do they fulfill our connection needs, but they also give us a sense of purpose and meaning to life, and sort of bind us in a belonging in a community and shared human experience. So there is a lot to do, which actually requires a little bit more effort on our part. Mindfulness relieves stress. Mindfulness has established itself as basically the number one stress relief activity with good reason. It really soothes our nervous system and helps to restore our sense of groundedness. But not everybody is interested in sitting down and meditating or doing mindfulness-based stress reduction activities. And, yet at the very basic level, though, right, mindfulness is about being attentive to the present moment without judgment. So being here now with an openness and curiosity toward ourselves and without the press for any action. So we don't really have to sit down to meditate. Mindful practice can happen if you allow yourself to immerse into any process without judgment and without and with a non-reactive absorption in the present moment. So yoga, gardening, knitting, cleaning, cooking, playing a game, anything that is absorbing and takes it takes our mind and our attention and places it in a calming, soothing, good activity is actually mindful, and we can get therapeutic benefits from it. So, while a knitting session can be a very mindful activity, if you get frustrated with yourself and you are judgmental, then it's not mindful anymore. So mindfulness really requires a non-judgmental, non-reactive absorption in the present moment. There are also numerous online apps and teachings available for those who are interested in developing a mindful practice. I said this a little while ago that some of us are sharing time and space with family. So we are literally housebound 24/7 with partners, our children and other family members. And, it is inevitable that we will step on each other's toes. Sometimes this kind of togetherness can bring up conflicts and can become challenging. If there are family disputes that need to be attended to with the help of a professional, then of course, please reach out to couples therapists or family therapists, many of whom are available online these days. But at the very basic level, some things that can help is having regular family meetings. So whatever works for the family, once a week, once a month, that everybody gets together and we agree upon tasks, commitments, agendas, expectations, so that it's clear what is to be expected from each person in the family on any given day. This can help minimize conflict and disappointment from unmet needs and expectations, misunderstandings, etc. If there are children in the family, it's nice to involve the children in appropriate ways. Their anxiety will be lower if they know what to expect from their day and from you and what might be expected from them. Now, all this can be displayed on a master calendar somewhere where everyone can access it. And of course, we want to build into the family calendar downtime for each member, alone time for each member. Somebody said to me, I think everybody in the house needs to have a safe space. So even if there's a chair, if I sit in that chair, then that's my quiet time and safe space, and no one should disturb. So, we want family time, we want alone time, we want couples time. So if we can schedule all this, then people can know what to expect and when, and what they can count on. Kindness and respect, this is a time that we want to bring out our kindest and most respectful selves. We are in close quarters with partners and family. Everyone is experiencing some stress in some way or another. We will inevitably step on each other's toes, and then conflicts will arise. This is normal and expectable. However, in these times, and actually in any time, being able to resolve conflict and difficulties and really repair the relationship can make the difference between resilience and increased distress. And actually, in couples therapy, we really believe that the more we repair, the more we come back together, the more we fix problems together, the deeper and the more tenacious our relational fabric becomes. If repair isn't possible, then every little hurt can become devastating. But if repair is possible, then we have a lot of capacity to say it's okay if we make a mistake. We will certainly invest in the repair and come back together. So basic attitudes of respect and compassion are absolutely critical right now. We want to ask ourselves, not what is this relationship going to do for me or what am I going to get out of it, but actually, if everyone is stressed, how can I help my partner? How can I help my family member manage their stress better? How can I support them? How can I offer compassion, kindness, the benefit of the doubt, soothing? And the more we do for each other, the more we will get back in return. If everybody's looking out for the other person, we're going to be okay. So we really want to pull for mutual kindness, mutual respect, mutual support, mutual soothing. Just put yourself aside for a bit and see if you can show up for the family member. Couples therapy can certainly help if things are very, very difficult. And again, we can reach for therapists to help us online. Attitudes, hope. It's extremely important for our survival at this time. Things can start to feel really, really hopeless, and we can start to feel very, very helpless in the face of this external reality. But hope stabilizes our internal reality. So is your glass half full? And not to be Pollyanna about it and deny what is going on in our world and the things that have hurt us. People have lost jobs, people have lost family members, people have been sick and come back from it. Some people have not come back from it. So a lot has happened. But we want to find the positive in everything, the positive that gives the brain the much needed respite. The focus on the stressor, it can generate negative spirals of fear, hopelessness, and despair. We have to find positivity to counter the effects of stress. We might even say, fake it till you make it. Find the positive that will take you forward. For those who have faith, seeking comfort in prayer at this time can be very supportive. For all of us, finding gratitude generates positivity. What are you grateful for, despite the fact that this is undeniably a difficult time for many of us? Many people are telling me that this is the time that they have been reevaluating their lives and figuring out what their own values are. What is important in life? Who is important? What do I prioritize? How would you like to change your priorities? Who am I? Who am I under pressure? Who am I in normal everyday life? What do I want to carry forward from the past? What have I learned new that I want to put into my life? What is going to matter to me? What will fulfill me? What will make me happy? What can I learn from this moment? How can I change my actions to structure a life that will give me more of what I want in the future? So people are choosing to think about working more from home or less from home, or putting in exercise into their lives, putting in gratitude, learning to do more yoga, picking up mindfulness practice, whatever it is. And then I want to emphasize that we want to make a plan. We want to think about, given our values, given who we are, given our needs in life, what is our short-term plan as the economy opens up and we are allowed to participate more in a new normal? What is our long-term plan and how will we get there? And actually, once we make the plan, we kind of have to let go of that plan. So it's an interesting dialectic between setting goals without getting too rigid or attached to any single goal. So without a goal, we will feel very rudderless. But with goals, we want to move forward toward those goals, allowing the unexpectable, the unknown to happen so that we can be and remain as flexible and as positive as possible. A word about expectations. As we set goals, I just want to say that we want to think about not wanting to function at 600% as we used to function before this. How do we set realistic goals? How do we maintain boundaries around time and effort for each task? Sometimes getting things done is more important than getting it done perfectly, right? When can we give ourselves permission to be human with lots of capacity, but also understandable expectation? So thinking about our goals as sustainable rather than perfect. Many people have had a very lonely time with the stay-at-home strictures, and I mean similar things that we have discussed already. In the interest of time, I'm going to say, find virtual connection, join clubs, lunches, check-ins, volunteer in the community, reach out, exercise, take care of yourself. You might have to put in more effort than before to do the reaching out, because this is a time that there isn't a natural way of meeting people at work or when we go out and so on. People who have had mental health concerns before COVID are having all sorts of reactions. Some people feel like the world finally understands us and we feel a bit relieved, while others are feeling worse. It is very, very important for people who are who have been in treatment to maintain the treatment. Loss and continuity of treatment can be very harmful. For others, it would be important to reach out for treatment as the need arises. It is important to stay in touch with sponsors and use hotlines, seek therapy if mental health concerns are becoming important. There are many resources. The Mayo Clinic, CDC have websites that are helping people find resources for treatment. Talking to physicians, talking to insurance companies. NAMI New Jersey has resources. If domestic violence is a concern, call 1-800-SAFE or text love is to 22522 if calling is not an option. For lawyers, there's the New Jersey Lawyers Assistance Program. They have a website full of resources. Thank you very much for participating in this webinar, and I hope that you have found some things that can help you and sustain and build your resilience as you deal with the aftermath of COVID. Thank you.